Am I the asshole for leaving the room after my boyfriend surprised me? My 23 female BF, 26M, had been away for almost a month and was supposed to return this morning from his trip, but told me that in the last minute he decided that he wanted to stay one more day at his sister's, who he hadn't seen in a while, place. I had been waiting excitedly for an entire month just to see him, made some decorations and wore his favorite clothes, ordered his favorite snacks etc. And was very disappointed and upset when he changed his plan last minute. He had no particular reason to want to stay one extra day, so that made me even more upset. The thing is, he has surprised me in the past by showing up earlier than he was supposed to, so I asked him at least 5 times whether he's lying to me because he wants to surprise me, because if he is, I would be really upset to be disappointed only to realize that it is not real and do not want to go through a set of negative emotions for no reason. He said he is being genuine and even sent me screenshot of the cancelled ticket. So, I let it go and took down the decor, changed, ate some of the snacks and cried myself to sleep. But guess what happens? He shows up on the day, today morning, he was supposed to. I was obviously happy to see him but not as enthusiastic as I should have been. He asked me why I was being somewhat dry and distant, so I explained that I had told him very clearly that I did not want to feel disappointed for no reason, and him telling me intricate lies that made me feel really sad, only to show up anyways made me feel like he did not value my feelings. He got mad and said I was being unreasonable because everyone likes surprises. I told him that while usually I do too, this absolutely did not feel like a surprise, and left the room and went to my friend's room. I got a bunch of text messages from him saying I am being unreasonable and that I am overreacting. My friend also thinks that maybe I am being a bit unreasonable to leave him alone when I haven't seen him in so long, so now I feel a little guilty for walking out. Am I the asshole? Edit. Holy moly, I did not expect this to blow up this much. I read through almost all your comments and if I'm being honest, I felt a little defensive of him. But your comments overwhelmingly convinced me that I should value my feelings more than I have so far. I also realized this is not the first time he hasn't valued my feelings. I appreciate all of your comments and I had a long talk with him about this, and other times as well where my boundaries were not respected at all. And he absolutely did not get it. He half-heartedly apologized but took almost no accountability, and I think this is the last straw honestly. I'm done putting in all the effort, and I will break up with him soon. It'll be hard because I really thought this one actually cared lol, but yeah. Think I need to be single for a while now. Thank you so much again. Not the asshole. He enjoys lowering your mood, so when he does something nice, it has a larger impact in his mind. If your mood is already at an 8 and him coming home as planned would raise your mood to a 10. Well, he only made you 2 more happy, but if he drops your mood to a 3, then raises it to a 10, well, he gets to pat himself on the back for making you 7 happy. He's purposely ignoring all the times he subtracts from you happiness and is only wanting to boast about the good bits. He lied to you so that you would be upset, so that he could surprise you. That's not surprising someone, that's disappointing and hurting them intentionally so you can swoop in and be the momentary hero. This is the emotional equivalent of tripping someone so you can get credit for taking care of their bruises afterwards. Not the asshole, but he's not a nice guy, and he's showing you who he is. Please believe him. Not the asshole. It's giving the same vibe as a group of friends or family pretending they forgot someone's birthday, and then surprising them at the end of the day with a party. The issue is that the birthday person probably suffered the entire day for no good reason, thinking that they were forgotten. As you explained, he knowingly upset you in order to hopefully get a nice big reaction. He still went through with it even after you clarified that you would be really upset if he was lying the night before. Not the asshole. You told him clearly before he did it and he still did it. You also literally cried yourself the night before. Yeah, people like surprises, but not when part of the surprise includes putting you through hell. His surprise was just doing what he was supposed to be doing to start with. So instead of putting effort into an actual thoughtful surprise or even gesture, he put in work into bringing your emotions down in a crappy attempt to make you happy about him just doing what he was already going to do. That's shitty. And it's even shittier that he did so after you specifically and multiple times asked him not to do just what he ended up doing. He doesn't care about your feelings, he cares about doing what he wants to do more. ETA. Not the asshole obviously. But he is. Seems like you've also surprised him by leaving, feeling hurt, and being mad. How does he like his surprise? Am I the asshole for telling my friend she can get back in touch when she stops being perpetually busy? So, long story short, I've had it with one of my friends. We've known each other for about 12 years, met at uni, now we're mid-30s. She's the permanently busy type, if you know, you know. Always doing something, can't be alone with her thoughts for 1 second, hyper extroverted, etc. She's a nice person, but that pattern of compulsive Busyness got on my nerves from the start. Like, after we graduated she worked part-time. That's it. For extra money she let out the other 3 bedrooms in her house. No kids, no dogs, no serious partners, no ailing relatives. And despite working maximum 2-3 days a week from 8 to 3, she was almost impossible to get a hold of. I lived 30 minutes away on foot and we'd still see each other every 3-4 months at best. And every time, the spiel was, I know it's been ages but I'm just so busy. A few years ago I moved so we're now in different countries. I tried to stay in touch via WhatsApp but even that's been falling apart. Over the lockdown she got married and had 2 kids. So you can imagine how hard she is to get a hold of now that she actually has responsibilities and isn't just busy being busy. So for the past year now our interactions have dwindled down to me sending her life updates and asking about hers. And her getting back weeks later if I'm lucky, months later or not at all if I'm not, with a generic, so sorry, been so busy but you're in my thoughts, how are you X? Meanwhile she's still pretty active on social media and regularly posting about all the fun things she gets up to with all those other people. So to cut a long story short, I decided this means she's just not interested and trying to tell me nicely. I mean, how else am I supposed to take barely answering me, and if so mostly just to remind me for the millionth time of just how busy she is, while simultaneously showing off all the things and people she does miraculously find the time for? Now here's the kicker. She messaged me about 3 months after my last message, once again with a generic, so sorry, so busy, how are you XX? And I chose not to respond because I'm over it. A month later, last week, it was my birthday, and she sent a birthday message and sounded quite upset I hadn't responded to the previous one. I responded by telling her what I said in the title. What's the point of messaging you anyway, when I already know how it's gonna go? I'll pass. Let me know if you ever get less permanently busy and can keep in touch on a more substantial level than getting back to me months later just to remind me of how busy you are. I heard through the grapevine, mutual friends, acquaintances, that she's upset at how I talk to her. But I don't think I'm in the wrong here. Am I obligated to keep making an effort for someone who just can't or won't reciprocate? And FFS, isn't it bizarre to get upset when someone you clearly don't care enough about to make an effort to include in your life? Let's go? ETA. Update, in the comments. Nah, the friendship has changed and it's clear you two have different priorities. It sounds like you don't understand her motivations for keeping busy and she doesn't sound like she's particularly good at carving out quality time for you. I don't think your message wasn't particularly tactful, it definitely reads as salty and bitter. I mean, your post on a whole sounds that way. Friendships change as you get older and you can either build something new that's sustainable for both of you or move along with respect and fondness for the friendship you had. You're the asshole. You come across as angry and bitter. Some people are genuinely busy. Not having a partner, kids isn't an indicator people aren't busy as that seems to be the only grace you offer. Some people are just bad at communicating. Some people occasionally need time away from people and use busy as an excuse. Your comments just reinforce how bitter you actually are as well. Busy shtick. I think people are missing where she was miffed at you for not replying to a text. I would also be annoyed at this. Why is it okay for her to be busy and late in responding but not you? That would irk me for sure. Give grace and get grace. You're frustrated and at your limit with this friendship. You've made an effort, but it's clear she hasn't been meeting you halfway. I get why you said what you did, but maybe it came off a little harsh. If she's genuinely upset, it might help to have a more open conversation about how you feel. You're not obligated to keep investing in a one-sided friendship, though. Not the asshole, I'm so confused at all the other comments. Not the asshole, it's unfair to be upset at someone for doing something once that you've done to them consistently. I find it's also pretty poor form to get upset about someone being upset at you for your crappy behavior. You finally called her out for something that has been upsetting you, and instead of apologizing or saying she'll make an effort, she just complains to friends. Am I the asshole for not giving back my finances? Deceased grandmother's engagement ring? Throwaway account. I 29 female am engaged to Jake 32 male. We have been engaged for 2 years. He has an older brother, Sam 38. When Jake and I got engaged, Jake wanted me to have his grandmother's engagement ring. Jake talked to Sam and Sam said since he doesn't plan to get married or have children that Jake should use the ring. I love that ring and love the sentimental meaning behind it. Sam met a wonderful woman, Hannah, within the past year and they are expecting a child. Once they found out it would be a girl, Hannah told Sam she wants him to get the ring back for their daughter. Jake has already told Sam no. During Sunday dinner last weekend at my mother-in-law's house, Hannah brought up the ring and how it should be given to their daughter since she would a great-grandchild and I am not related by blood. It became an intense discussion. Luckily my mother-in-law also agrees with my fiancé and I. Hannah then asked if her daughter could have it in our will. I said no because it will either be given to our son or our future daughter. I told Hannah to take up her problem with Sam since he's the one who let Jake have the ring to give to me. Hannah ended up leaving the house crying. Am I the asshole? Not the asshole. That's your engagement ring. Sam had his chance at the ring, but he passed it to Jake. It became your engagement ring. Him trying to somehow retroactively claim the engagement ring because his one-year relationship wants it is crazy. It's even crazier that she wants it for an unborn baby. If the ring is valuable, this gives vibes that Hannah is money grubbing. I know you say she is wonderful, but this is worrying behavior for a year-old relationship. A baby is already on the way, and she's already looking for what she can take because baby is related. Definitely not the asshole. Wow. The cojones on your bill and Sil. His GF. You may not be blood related, but neither is your Sil, lol. Jake asked for the ring and Sam agreed. No takesy backsies. It is yours and should go to your children, period. I think maybe Hannah isn't used to be told, no, lol. I was worried you were withholding a family heirloom from an ex or something. Sigh of relief. Not the asshole. Not the asshole. I've seen so many titles similar to yours and was glad that this is a completely different context to that. This is all on Sam. He's the one who should be dealing with the fallout from the wonderful Hannah. Seems weird that Hannah's eyeing the ring already. Leaving the house crying sounds like either manipulation to try and get her way, or a tantrum because she's not getting her way. Not the asshole. Hannah looks at the ring as a status symbol in your family. Like, whomever has the ring is the better, more important daughter-in-law or grandchild, great-grandchild. It's silly. Expect plenty of attempted one-up-manship from her with the kids. And FFS, don't give up your ring. Not the asshole. You just don't get to take rings off of people's fingers. You just cannot. She missed out and will have to be a part of another tradition. Am I the asshole for suggesting my teacher host my son's party at her house? Throwaway and fake names. I realize this was probably very petty, but I want to see if I am justified or just an asshole and owe an apology. My son, Sam, had his 9th birthday today, but we're having the actual party tomorrow night, which is basically just a sleepover at our apartment with 2 friends. One is in his class and the other in a different one, same school though. Before my son even got home from the bus, I got a call from his teacher, Lorna, requesting that the party involve all the students in the class. She learned about it because it came up as the class wished him a happy birthday. I at first politely refused, saying that's not reasonable, but she insisted to make sure nobody was left out. I respond by saying that she has no say in who is at my home ever, and that even if she did, my apartment simply cannot accommodate 32 kids and guardians. She says that because other students are involved, she does, and that I should have the party somewhere that could allow all students. I was ready to either hang up or tell her off, but what she said at the end sparked an idea. I tell her, okay, what's your address? And when she asks why, I told that since you think you have a say and you want all your students to be a part, we might as well have the party have her house, and request her address again. There's a pause before she says that's not exactly what she meant, and I tell her that no, she wants everyone to attend, so she should be the one to make it work, before hanging up. This is where I probably became the asshole. Out of curiosity, I easily found her address. Her SM is not private at all, and email her. How does this email sound? With an excerpt to the group email chain saying that Lorna has offered to host Sam's birthday party at her home and to come after school to X address. I was not planning on actually sending that to anyone else but her. I just wanted to prove the point and felt I was being sarcastic, but I know tone is hard online. She responded to not send it and to do whatever I want for the birthday. She does not care anymore. When I vented to my husband about it, he called me unhinged, but he agreed with my point. I'll admit, I have a bit of a habit going overboard when I feel wronged and probably went nuts. But I can't believe the audacity of this lady. Am I the asshole? Esh. Stopping the teacher's power play by throwing her logic at her? Genius. But then you had to be fucking creepy about it towards the end. Public or not, that was weird, and your email could have been interpreted as thinly veiled. I know where you live, threat. I agree with your great argument, but you definitely went overboard. Teacher is the asshole for trying to dictate who you are paying for and involving in your kid's life. You can't help that it came up in class. Of course kids talk about their birthdays. Unless you came in or your kid came in and made a huge to-do about handing out invites to only certain kids, then teacher shouldn't be involved at all, and even then she still has no say other than she can request that invites be done outside of school, class. But instead of looking her up and seeming a bit creepy, maybe just ask, well, where would you like to host and pay for 32 kids then instead? And then just ignore her, because once again, if she isn't paying or hosting or watching all those kids, it isn't her decision, period. Esh. It's one thing if the whole class was invited and just one of 2 kids were excluded. But in this case it's just a sleepover with 2 friends. That was any basic weekend when I was a kid. But you doubled down and made it creepy by finding her address. Esh, you had me applauding up until you mentioned finding her address. She could construe that as a threat and take up the administrative chain, resulting in your son being removed from her class or possibly even local authorities getting involved. Man, I was almost on your side, but you had to go be creepy stalker and become the awe. Seriously, dude, that's so damn creepy and gross. We have been in multiple schools where their policy asked parents to either have parties that included 1, the whole class, 2, just all the boys, girls, same general as birth kid, 3, or just a couple close friends. So that no one is left out, even if not everyone is invited. That was never meant to be enforced, just a heads up to not be mean. I always thought it was pretty reasonable, barring a bullying situation. This one clearly meets number 3. Everyone sucks here because creepy stalker parent.